Welcome to day 12 of Jesus's Consciousness Shift program, where I, Kenneth Berenson, will channel Jesus. And he has very much instigated this whole thing because he wanted to share. And I have assisted other channelers to do this. But I didn't want to, it's a little odd to admit, but I didn't want to channel Jesus. But then I did. But then I didn't want to be the one asking in a way, because I was shy about it. I wasn't sure if I was worthy enough, like all of those kind of thoughts, which are very natural for the body. It's very, very natural for the body to have those thoughts. Thoughts of feelings and sensations based on our upbringing and based on this is Jesus, by the way. We are just calibrating here a little bit. Getting back to the stream. I noticed that it is interfering with the flow for me to having to say when it's Jesus or when it's me. It's you know, there is something about that, because I feel that I need to say when it's him and when it's me. But I feel that is doing something that is not natural for me in the way that my system operates in these frequencies. So I think I just have to go with that, because that's the whole point. So I'm just going to practice. So this is me. I just want you to pay attention here. This is me finding out something that doesn't feel good for my body. And this is a little thing, like, okay, this doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to having to say that when it interferes. So my body notices this, and then we're identifying this as something that doesn't feel good for the body. And this is not something, because I know many beings can get into these kind of habits of, oh, then the body needs to be okay with everything. No. You don't need to be okay with everything. It's okay to have preferences. It's okay to actually have a way that functions best. Right? So, but it takes the awareness first to identify and feel into the body. What's wrong? What's going on here? Identifying. It's like this little notification bell on your email. That is what those feelings are. They just tell you something. Okay, what is it? Then it becomes your job to figure out what it is. And so in this case, it took me a few days to adjust, right? Because sometimes I'm trying on a new shirt, it feels like, with stepping into channeling Jesus. Because it feels like a big deal because of what I've been through and seen other channelers have been through when it comes to channeling Jesus. So I've also experienced beings that just couldn't handle it anymore. And they went back to the egoic patterns of being scared or resisting, moving forward. But this is what we're all being asked to do. We're being asked to be really genuinely honest with ourselves and who we are. And start to adjust. Yes, we can adjust the world and how we do things. That is the whole game. We need to make alterations. We can't just rely on our parents' upbringing. That is not enough. And many beings just stop there. They've learned what they've learned from their parents and their society, and they just follow along. Sometimes we need to be able to make alterations with our behavior if it's not working. So the best way we can do that is with the body, because the body is our best gauge to tell if this environment is producing the right result for us. How joyful are we living here? What's impeding that joy? Right? Just here. Like these. What is impeding that joy? Those sounds. It's a good example, right? And that is exactly how the feelings feel like on the inside. They feel like this on the inside. If there's something that needs tending to. And in this case, I'm letting go, catering to someone else. In this case, it's for you guys, which is fictional in a way. It's just an imagination. I don't know what every one of you think, right? And so I have noticed that it puts too much pressure on the system to have to monitor that. And that is not good for the channeling either, because then there's interference. And so that interference is really good to get calibrated. And this was a wonderful example, because this is about identifying those things in your life. Do you have the eye to see those things? Well, I'm injecting that awareness into you right now. Start to feel how it is. First of all, if you're any kind of uncomfortable position or something, get comfortable. These transmissions are best watched when you're comfortable, when you don't have anything else on, so that you can focus 100% of your attention on the screen and what the words and energy is being transmitted here. Because there are many things that can be transmitted here. The more you pay attention and absorb the information. If you have this on and you're doing other things, your attention is divided. So in order to learn something new, your attention needs to be sharpened. So the more you can focus here on this video and let all of the other distractions go within your consciousness. That also means in your physical environment. Close that door. Minimize that window. Close that phone. Silent. Make yourself comfortable. And then start. And then feel your body while you're listening to these. Feel how your body feels. You most likely will feel a vibration. And that vibration you can sense. And that sensing you can start to feel, based on your focus, you can start to feel, first of all, how you're receiving this information. So you focus to see if you can feel with your focus what I'm saying with your body. So train you to absorb this information, say to your body, okay, I'm open to this. I'm open to learn something new. I'm open for new light codes to enter this space vessel, this body, this electromagnetic field, this biofield. It goes by many names. The auric field. It is the energy field that is all around you. And that can be programmed by listening to the right frequencies. That's why frequencies are so important. Frequency, everyone emits a frequency. And it depends on their level of frequency of where they're speaking from and what the topic of conversation is, that you will feel a resonance with it, that it takes you up in frequency. That just makes you feel much better. You feel more aligned, you feel sharper, maybe you see clearer, maybe you get new ideas and inspirations and things like that. That is a high vibrational frequency. So sometimes just listening to something like this will align you to that frequency. So pay attention to what you're feeling in your body while you're observing and taking on board what I'm saying. This landing process, there is a landing process going on where we are landing who we are more through the body. We are saying, many of us, that we're landing the soul into the body. And what we're actually doing, like that's more of a, it's a little, I almost want to call it airy-fairy, but it's a little bit intuitive in cloud land, because it is scientific. Spirituality is scientific. I felt I went a bit off there. That can happen. And it's supposed to be fun too, this whole game, right? Because what would this be if it wouldn't be fun and joyful, right? It's okay. It is fun. It is joyful. Uplifting things, they are fun. They're joyful. They're not heavy. They don't bring you down in frequency. Oh, pour this or pour that or any of that. So that's the first thing that you can start to do, is that start to identify the things in your life that take you down in frequency. Start to identify those things that take you down in frequency. And also pay attention to those things that take you up in frequency. And pay attention to those things that just stay neutral as well. So then you have a little gauge. Because that you can have a lot of fun with. First of all, it's really important that you identify what in your life is draining you and what in your life is uplifting to you. That is what you're finding out. And anything that is draining to you, that means that you're losing energy by entertaining something or the way that you're handling that situation. So then the question becomes, okay, whatever this situation is that is draining me, first of all, you need to start to ask the right questions. Because when you ask the right questions, you receive the right answers. If you just ask without thinking of how the answer is going to come, it's not the best. Okay, so so it's important that it is joyful. This is supposed to be a joyful process, because we're exploring consciousness, and this being loves this. He loves to explore consciousness like this, because he knows how this all works now. And this is a wonderful game. It has become a game for him to change his frequency. And he is very acute. Oh, there's something, and then try and figure it out. It's a lot of fun because we can alter ourselves so much and start to harness our energy so that whenever you find these things that are draining your energy and you're doing too much of them, start to focus on cleaning them up. Right? We've been taught by many manifestation teachers you shouldn't focus on your problem because then you get more of it. It's different when you go in and knowing that you're going to clean up. You're going to correct the energy, right? That's different because then you're doing an action that has permanent consequences for your life. You're not just, oh, I can't focus there, I'm going to focus here. That does apply for certain things. However, if you are still entertaining it, there is something there for you to learn in order to either close that reality or correct it. It's really that simple. You have two choices when it comes to correcting energy. You either alter it, meaning you communicate and find a different way of doing this that works for you, or you close that reality because that is not of benefit if it is going to be a drain. If it is possible, obviously you have to do the best that you can, right? In the situation that you're in. If you are in a situation that is not so easy to just get out of, totally get it, then we take it up in stages. So then where we're at now, what is a next step up that is in the right direction? That's what that is. And then we set the intention there to get there. And then the energy starts to adjust in that direction. So we need to apply the masculine, which is the identifier and seer of everything that's going on here. All of the different signals. Right? And so the masculine needs to see and then assess all of the different things. All of the intuitive information, all of the feelings in the body, all of the societal norms, all of the effects that can have on other people and other situations, and all of that stuff is the masculine's overseer. How can I inject the most amount of joy in this situation? Right? That is a good question. How can I inject the most amount of joy? And then you will get the results and the ideas that comes to you will be those that match that frequency and that question, because you're always getting an answer. But it might not come in the right way that you think all the time. And sometimes it doesn't come instantaneously. If you are moving slower in energy and your way of manifesting is through people. Because sometimes beings can have a little bit of a blinders on when it comes to intuition. And so that just means that you are just, if you have that, you can just remove that. Just remove that. Just let that go. Intend for that to be let go. Just let it go. That is one. Okay. Manifestation, the masculine, directionality, letting go of anything that is impeding my intuition for me to realize my intuition. For me to realize the truth and see the truth of energy. The truth of my existence, the truth of why I'm here. Those are good questions because they lead somewhere. Why am I here? What do I really want? What do I really want out of this situation? And then a lot of good answers will come. Because you're asking the right questions. You have to know how to ask the right questions that is leading you energetically correct on what you can do to alter things energetically. Because that's how you actually make the change. Because it needs to be made on multiple levels, but also the physical. That's how you make change. That's how you make the shifts in order to bring more light into these bodies. It's not so complicated, but there have been many modalities and thought forms and this modality and that modality that in the mind of the ego has confused itself a little bit about what is actually going on here. And we have to look at energy then. What is going on? Is there an energy leak or not? Like, look at it as a balloon filled with water. Is there a leak in the balloon? Obviously, it's energy. So it's much more fluent than that. In one moment it can be there, and in the next it can be different. And it depends on your focus, and it also depends on how well have you trained certain habits. So in order to have more light, we have to practice. We have to add in practice. We have to train our bodies so that we behave in ways that are energetically correct, so that we don't go into situations that are of a lower nature. So if you can see something that would be you interfering, or just have common sense on what you're entering into. Like, will you enter into something that will be taking you down in frequency? Sometimes you may not know, and that's okay. But just always make sure that you check. Have that conscious overseer of your life. Like, if I go in here, what's going to happen? Is this going to be a good long-term strategy for me? Think long-term. It's a very good idea. This is an advice that I wish that I'd gotten when I was younger. And I was looking for this, actually. I was looking for someone that could teach me this. And not knowing it. And now I receive it. It's so wonderful. It's so wonderful. So one thing I also want to say, and I know that many beings in their minds and egos have this glorification of channeling, spirit, higher knowledge, as if they have the truth and the body does not. They do not have the truth. I would like to invite you to think about this a little different. Because the bodies, this is the reason why I am the way that I am. Because the bodies needs to be adjusted to the soul. So the body needs to be part of the experience. That's why I also have trouble with saying who is actually channeling each time, because there are so many, they are all here. And they're all injecting in the right moments. It's not just one consciousness coming through here. We are many consciousnesses that is coming through. And sometimes the body also comes through. And that is important. I'll tell you why this is important. And that combination that this being is in is very important because of this. That the body is important to calibrate in order to anchor more light through the bodies, so that Gaia can get more light, so that beings can be affected by your light. This is how you actually came to do great things. by thinking in the form of human energy light, your light body. How to increase your light body. Increase it so much that you start to receive higher knowledge. That is each person's birthright. To have that open, directly connected. It has been very tampered with, let's call it, in this society. It is everyone's birthright to land and to have that connection. Have the connection with your guides and teachers. But that's one. The next step is to embody that you. The you that is without hindrances in the mental space, so that you are clear, that your consciousness is clear, so that you can focus and direct your energy in a way that makes the most amount of effect that you can have as a human being. It is a great honor to walk this path of hosting more light. It's a great honor. So much energy now. Goosebumps. This is what we wanted to share for today. You're doing great. Just listening to these and entertaining the ideas, if that is all you can do, that is okay too. Just know that you're always going to be uplifted. Even just listening to these, you will be taken higher in consciousness. Even if you don't comprehend everything. Even if you are not fully grasping it or have fully been able to land these ways of harmonizing the energy. You're doing great. We are very happy that you are enjoying and taking interest in what is coming through here. And we will promise you that you will be amazed at what will happen if you stick with this. We are looking forward to talking to you tomorrow. Ciao.